Hello and welcome. Today I'm reviewing E31 Sailor's Abyss. This dungeon becomes quite tricky, especially because of the affixes. Blood Surge becomes quite of a nuisance because you want to do really big pulls to time this key and a lot of the things die at the same time. And then Ultimatum makes the boss super tanky and it actually does a surprising amount of damage, especially in phase 2. Those undertows, while the thought is ticking and everything, it's surprisingly high damage for it. So I thought it was a good dungeon to review, especially because Aeona is not the best when it comes to rotting damage like the boss does. Because we like big hits, so we can cleanse the stagger and go on with our damage profile and just doing damage, spamming damage. But sometimes in this boss it became tricky to heal, so I thought it was a good idea. So let's jump into talents. For talents in Sailors, on the first row I took Erasure. It applies a dot every time you oblivion a target and this dot accumulates the damage. So it's a really good talent in general. You're always finding yourself using Oblivion for AoE healing. The talent also does AoE healing. So I just think it's a really good 2-pointer in row 1. The other 2 talents in row 1 don't even come close. In row 2, I take Chronotap and Uchronia. Chronotap is just a mana talent. I really like running Chronotap in bosses that don't do a lot of damage. And while this boss does quite a bit of damage on phase 2, all the way on phase 1, it doesn't do much damage. So this way, like just running Chronotap makes me just feel safe that I will never run out of mana and I can just spam the boss. Also, I didn't think there was another 1-point talent that would give me more benefit than Chronotap in this situation. And then Uchronia is just a really good talent altogether. Get a free spell every time you use 3 spells that consume Chrona, right? Hastening Doom on row 3, amazing talent, always run it. 20% extra haste on your Doom window. Whenever you Doom, you want to get as many spells out, do as much damage as you can. So having more haste will just benefit you in every way, and 20% is a lot of haste. Then in this row, there's a choice between Synchronicity and Temporal Shift. I do think both of them are good enough. I do enjoy Synchronicity more than Temporal Shift. This is the talent that I will drop if I ever want to go more defensive. If I want to pick Magic Word and Message of Truth, I'll drop Synchronicity and go for those. But Synchronicity generates more Chrona whenever you're below 50%, and you do more damage with the spells that generate Chrona while you're above 50% Chrona. I don't really keep track of this. It's not like I'm min-maxing it a lot, but whenever I realize that I am above 50% Chrona and I have Barrage of cooldown and I will not overcap Chrona, I will click Barrage, stop spamming Oblivion and click Barrage on that moment to just benefit from the extra damage that Barrage would do. I think Temporal Shift also has a spot in this. I just don't think that with the Cape Legendary you need more cooldown. But it is also a viable option because you just extend Fleeting Hour every time you barrage or you reduce the cooldown of Fleeting Hour. Then you have Surging Chrona in row 4, amazing talent, 1-pointer. You just, every time you click Fleeting Hour, get 60 Chrona. And then Oblivion's Embrace, also really good, amazing talent to run. You're finding yourself using so much Oblivion to heal in AoE, to heal in general, that's how you heal. And then for the 6th row, I go with Echoes of Divinity, since aside from it being a good 1-point talent, I think it actually has a lot of benefit in the boss, especially in phase 2, right? Because it's rotting damage. Damage is constant and it's dot, so whenever you cleanse, there is more cleansing happening afterwards, which there's always going to be stagger to cleanse, right? Even if it's a little bit, there'll always be stagger to cleanse. Okay, let's have a look at the weapons and gems, and then we jump into the dungeon. So for the weapon, we're running Skybolt again, since it's really good with Aeona. You can do Skybolt in your Doom window. It does make a lot of damage. It's also sometimes used as an emergency heal on somebody. So it is just really good and it's off their global cooldown now. And with the talents in the weapon, we're going with full damage. Kindling and Diamond Strike are just passive effects happening on enemies. Diamond Strike also happens on allies, it heals, but it's not very reliable, and it doesn't actually do a lot of HPS by the end of the dungeon, but it does a lot of damage. And then we have Inspire Allegiance, which just reduces the cooldown of our Skybolt and gives haste in AoE to our party. I think Allegiance is just really good to run as well. Like Aeona does so much single target damage when you pair it with this weapon and with the Oblivion span on bosses and everything, so I think it is just really, really good to run this talent. And then for defensives, I have Cheat Death, which I think has a lot of value. And then I'm running King of the Hill here, which reduces my damage for almost 10% every time I'm above 80% HP, which I do think Aeona has a lot of uptime, and since this is a rotting fight, I think I'll be a lot of the time above 80% HP, except when Undertow happens, right? Or when Binding Strike, then you might go down, but I think it has a lot of uptime throughout the boss, so I think it's good, and it is better than something like against all odds for this boss. I do, however, think that against all odds will probably be better in general, but yeah, specifically for this boss, King of the Hill was not bad. I'm trying to get an against all odds weapon as well. And then for gems, I'm still playing the full crit. The 5 haste is just really nice. It's like having that little extra haste bump makes the rotation so much smoother, and the 2 diamond is pretty much buffed for diamond strike, since the more stacks of the first diamond node, I can't remember the name, it makes your diamond strike do more damage. And then the 6 red, the same concept as King of the Hill. A lot of the time you're above 80% HP, so you are benefiting from the 9% main stat. And then you as well get 5% extra absorbs, healing and damage in bosses, which is a really good thing as well. Okay, so let's speed up this a little bit. We go right here and chicken the Magi, and then pull everything else on top of each other. So here we just dot everything while it's pulling to not get aggro and everything. Then we chicken the Magi. So this pull is, we usually focus raiders in this pull because they are the ones that like hurt the tank the most. The souls will die like on their own, on like with AoE damage. And the raiders hurt the tank a lot, so we just try to focus on the raiders, get them out. The scary point of this pull is the spells, of course, and then tank damage. There's a huge tank damage in this pull. Tank also comes into the pull completely naked, doesn't have ult, doesn't have defensives, anything, so it's also hard for the tank to just like set up this pull and survive it. So broken cheat death here, we're fine with it. And then the next point where it gets scary, this pull, is when all the souls will die. Souls die with like just AoE damage. You focus on other targets and then souls die, and then blood shards happen. All the souls will just proc blood shards. So here I'm setting my doom for when the blood shards happen. I'm a little bit late, but I just do doom and then heal them, and then I get a free Uchronia proc, and then I do mass dispel, like mass cleanse, stagger cleanse, and then that's how we stabilize the pull. So you have Doom active, yada yada, and then the pull gets kind of easier without the souls. A lot of enemies just die, and then the tank takes a lot less damage. Still focusing the raiders. Spectres just need to be interrupted, and there's only like 1 shade in here, I believe. So you just can like kill it and dispel the times that you get the debuff. Boom. At some point switch to the chicken because you don't want to have like a 40% HP chicken when everything is dying. So yeah, just try to kill everything evenly. Now the pull is not scary anymore. Boom boom, and then you focus to the chicken as well. A little bit late maybe, and then we keep going this way, and we just route until we jump down, and then we pull everything from there to the Magi, which is again a very scary pull. But you need to do this kind of big pulls because then if not the timer is way too low. Here we like there's a little fuck up. The Rhyme comes out of this shroud for the tank, so I get aggro while healing her. Whatever, we survive this. We're survivors. And the Magi, we just focus the Magi here. I think there's a miscommunication here between the Rhyme and the Larry because one of them should be like doing necrotic bolts, the other one is doing the Call of the Abyss, right? And then the soaks. This is scary here because of the soaks. There's a lot of damage happening to the tank. Less than in the previous pool, there's less raiders. So there's less damage happening to the tank here, but you have soaks to deal with. And then this is the scariest pool, or the scariest moment of this pool, again, is when all these souls that are like just getting like AoE, they're gonna get blood shards, right? They're gonna die and they're gonna all proc blood shards. I use ult here, this was the plan. I use ult to mitigate this, and I just spam the AoE stagger cleanse to just mitigate all the blood shards that are coming. And boom boom boom, here I still behind because of course the ult doesn't prevent damage, it just delays it. And I'm just like trying to get here a little bit of Trona to just do some stagger cleansing, and that's it. And then we pull the next pull, which is all the part outside with the 3 shades down here, like on the left, on the first platform. We need to finish this pull because the tank needs to mount, because gathering all this without a mount is well, really hard, and he will take a lot of damage. And here again there's a few raiders in here. I don't think there's as much damage to the tank as in the first pull, like ever. But still, focusing the radius is a good idea. Focusing the shades is also good, so you can just move on to the next pull. Again, Forgotten Souls and plants will die on their own, so be careful with Blood Surge. Here's what Blood Surge is gonna happen. I have my Doom active. I'm gonna have a Euchronia proc. Ooh, boom. I just keep doing it, and then we chicken this final Magi, and then at some point here we just start focusing the shade, so we can just move into the boss, because no shade, I don't have to worry about the spells on the boss here. We start focusing the shade, and after this we'll move into the boss. So then we go boss here, you get everything on boss once the sages are dead. Also a good way to just refresh your Blood Surge buff, because you know, extra expertise, everything counts. Good damage buff, keep up. So first phase, nothing really happens on this boss. I'm just gonna keep it like a really fast speed, because there is no dot, there's no scary things. You just get out for undertow. Be careful, don't be like me and think you can blink in. Respect the undertow, there's nothing happening, there's no stress to heal anything like here. Obviously just LOS a Screech, LOS a Necrotic Wave, and stay close to the tank with Binding Strike. That's about it. And then the chicken is just there, being annoying. It would have been good to just kill the chicken right before the Blood Surge buff expired, and you can refresh it for another 15 seconds, but we didn't do it, we didn't min-max that much. But yeah, it's just about dispelling the undertow, so I'm gonna speed this up a little bit more, see if we can get the second phase. And then just spam Oblivion here, I'm just going full damage. And then, ooh, we're almost on second phase. Obviously try not to get an undertow right before second phase, because dispelling that is really annoying. And here, we go second phase. We just survive this. And then we go to the other side of the pillar, right. So this is when the scary part happens, right? You get undertow, you have the dot running, you get a tick of the pool once you get dispelled right here. So, as you can see, I got a tick of the dot. The tick of undertow. Then I dispel myself. I'm taking damage from the pool that's underneath me, and I lose a lot of HP as well. I have no defensive. I'm Aeona, right? No defensives, right? So you're gonna take a lot more damage. All the DPSs are gonna have the defensive active, while undertow and Elarium will have the self-dispel. But this is the scary moment of these fights, right? And also not respecting when you are the second target of the undertow, not respecting the ability that comes after. All the wipes that I've had on this fight are because we didn't respect, or the person didn't respect the next cast, and they got Binding Strike right after having undertow, so they jumped out to get dispelled. The healer didn't have dispel, and then they died because Binding Strike happened, and the person and the tank died because they were too far away, or Screech happened. So always, if you're the second target of undertow, see what's happening after, see if you need to move, see if you can move, etc. If you have an Larian, it's a little bit different, because the Larian is always going to get dispelled on its own. So if the Larian is the first one and you are the second one, you should be able to get dispelled really fast and then come back quick enough for things not to happen. Either way, it's better not to risk it, my opinion. Usually the healer should be able to keep you alive on those situations, right? So that is pretty much the fight. And the way I heal the fight is, you usually just, it's enough to spam Oblivion for the dot alone. It's enough to spam Oblivion, and whenever you have Euchronia proc and you get a free Chrono ability usage, you use it on an AoE cleanse, stagger cleanse, sorry. I'm just always calling it the spell. I'm trying really hard to call it stagger cleanse. And then spam Doom, spam your ability, spam Oblivion, and then when you have an AoE stagger cleanse, then do it. Then sometimes you will have to single target cleanse when it's undertow, because it will take, people will take a lot of damage. But outside of those windows, also dicing for undertow, really good on this fight. It's pretty much whenever you need to use, like whenever you have to use dice, it's there. Ult to catch up on HPs, people falling behind, whatever. Really good as well. And then right after that, just keep doing damage, keep using your Euchronia procs for AoE cleanse stagger, and it should be very, very doable. Again, I think it's more about respecting the timings and respecting the undertow when it's happening, and yeah, just being very careful of the abilities that happen afterwards. And then that's it. Just spam damage, spam AoE cleanse when you get it for free, and the boss is dead. I will keep doing these for other dungeons that I will be timing in the future, hopefully. And I hope it was helpful for somebody out there. And if you have any questions or anything, just put them on the comments. And GG's! Good luck out there.